The Daily Post Political Analysis with Harry Atisson, Mark Obrien, and Terence Malapa.
Welcome back to wonderful time Vanuatu Telepost 107 with them FM. I Mr. Talk about political which happened this time. We got with me, Mark and Terence. You have a good weekend?
Very good weekend.
It's one good weekend.
Okay, to got on good weekend. I have a very good weekend too. And supposed to start pray for Vanuatu, big flat thank you. Now, after campaign, time blow vote, tomorrow is going to be a big day for you too, you think, for the country blow. You must have a look who I come Prime Minister with the new government, Mark.
It certainly is scheduled for tomorrow, the 11th. I guess what's tainted it has been the news over the weekend, which we knew was coming, regarding the alleged illegal sale of passports and suppression of a commission of inquiry, and because they knew too many people are going to be implicated. And I think it doesn't put this new legislature is going to go in with a sour taste in its mouth before it even starts. Some of the allegations, all the allegations need to be verified, of course, but certainly they're very, very serious. And if it proves out to be true, those people need to have the full weight of the law thrown at them. They need to be put in jail. They can't carry on like that and keep bringing Vanuatu, our beloved little country, into disrepute. We can do that on our own without people wanting to sell what's not theirs and take money for it and profit from it, allegedly. So very, very sad. And for the caretaker Prime Minister to make the decision not to release the Commission of Inquiry and into the passports and stuff, I think is bordering on treasonous, isn't it, really? That's vote fixing, call it what you like. We'll throw whatever you like at it, but to me, it would have had an effect because people could have made their mind up. Obviously, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, but my goodness, the information we're starting to get coming to hand, it's pretty serious stuff, and it will destroy yet another legislature, I promise you that.
Yes, that's very true. Last weekend paper, usually come out last weekend, I mean, one disturbing news a little bit, but tomorrow is the day where people and demand look forward to. Terence, one comment below. So Maggie can comment about what's happening now. Tomorrow is going to be interesting.
Oh yes, tomorrow will be very interesting. All get dying hours in Mr. Blumaya. By some catch up tomorrow la pass in the morning. Don't buy you say find out say Pauna be next Prime Minister. Mau next leader opposition. More news flow you to the weekend now by Mr. Shepem decision law or the coalition alliance. Probably say to next Prime Minister. Or say Mr. afternoon me haram or you local photos law or you got evidence plan. Say ikat some group law alliance. We in chat law alliance so the commit law one particular place or the historian. More you look him say two you go have 3 no stop. So yes, 2. So we got yaw ko group the VP or the historian good is it lo nakapal Samson down lo start and honorable alliance group or no stop what mo. So yes, what the master last weekend by Shepem or give one decision or by Shepem decision law get up big man baby. Lo elected one you last speaker or the Prime Minister tomorrow.
24 hours is a long time for you, Mark?
Look, I think under normal circumstances where people are getting on extremely well without the added pressure of some potential jail time for people and for other issues, I think this 24 hours is going to be very torturous. There's going to be people trying really hard to maintain some form of control, so see if they can't control this output. I think if they do, I think it's come out far enough, and I'm sorry, but this is the main story, is this alleged sales of passports for up to 25 million per passport. We don't know how many have been sold. We're waiting for, and Terence will tell you more about that because he's been leading this story as he sits there with a nice smile on his face. But what a lot of people need to know is we hear a lot of things in our position and our role here from media, but until we verify them to be factual, we can't put them out to people. So I think most of the players that are involved in this, they already know that they've cooked the goose. And that's why it came out, because we brought this up last Wednesday, if you remember. And I think that the best thing we can have is if we can have 27 that are going to be clean, excuse me, that aren't going to be implicated. And I think if the pairings, it's not hard for them to work out who's good and who's bad. simply just, obviously it's Foreign Affairs control it, so go back for the last few years who was Foreign Affairs Minister and pick them up by the scruff of the neck, set them to one side, draft them off, and then see what's left and see if we can find 27 that aren't implicated. But there's more to it than that. There's also the implication, and this is something that we haven't reported yet, but we've mentioned, is that there has been verification of people bringing stuff in under diplomatic passport that under normal circumstances is illegal, and I think they're still waiting to see if they can actually, if it is something that's broken the law of this country, that it needs to be flagged, and whether or not they can come back and offer some form of prosecution. The jury's still out on that, but that is something that's also very serious because they're accusing them effectively of bringing in bags or attaché cases full of money. Effectively, that's what's coming out. So because they've got diplomatic immunity, they can do that, I guess. But it's coming back into our own country, Terence. I don't know that the Geneva Convention is going to work as well for a participant. Like it's your own passport coming back in, and I don't know that you can have diplomatic immunity to break laws of your own country.
Mapayumi masa ko tabol chicken bagan convention na ulit budul, but yes, tayo you can back with them. You can back with them. One diplomatic passport la country you still you know mo yung back with them. Sema ko tayo ko outside to you stay outside. Mapayumi again, mapayumi tabol chicken bagan.
Yeah.
And lo side lo kata alleged diplomatic selo passport mapay team ikan back bagan lo all day ulis takam. After lo election lo tomorrow wanam lo bayi blasa kizuma to yula bagan more details. Lo Hamas now sell lo diplomatic passport di putum mo.
When will you have that?
Soon, as soon as possible. Mo bayi mi lo next story am lebi bayi mi start putum out now.
Unfortunately, it would have been nice to have had that come out because that would have given us some real good factual stuff to then pass on. But I think the people going into this legislature, I'd be very surprised if they weren't aware of who had a birthmark and who didn't. And I think that they should know. So we're hearing all sorts of different things, so which is what you're here for, what we're here for. So I guess if we knuckle down, but if we keep in mind that this will be a key factor in the ultimate lineup that gets presented before Chamber tomorrow morning.
It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, that's true. Now, so you tell them more details come up with them sales for passport. But to say, if you are praying for this country, thank you. But Terence, tomorrow, why you have 3 nominations for PM or 2 when things like this happen?
What I want to wish them na you mi sabatalab se before we come Lord kata past festive parliament. Time mo you mi sabi ni se we beggar lo pick. We beggar mo o kata line up se. Before last weekend you mi sabi ni se ba we ite kam. But what them one them way stuff happen around ya. But you look se by mistake by likely by sabi got some changes or by you mi se. But then by sabi got 3 nomination lo 1 speaker. Or
3 nomination 1 speaker.
1 speaker. From that, you elect them speaker finish. I mean, I may show you one. Have you shown you by Prime Minister? What them in the outside?
Okay. So, what do you about tomorrow? Tough, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll go out on a limb here, and I'll say that this is what I think is going to be the deputy. I reckon the deputy prime minister will be Johnny Canapo. I reckon the Minister of Finance will be Johnny Canapo, and the rest will be built around them. They are the kingmakers, 15. So I'm assuming that's what he wants, and I think he'll do that as a split. And I'm going to give you, there's a couple of left fields, but I'm not feeling the love for UMP being involved in this. I think they've been pushed aside, and I think UMP through Ismail has made it pretty clear that he just wants everyone to go to jail. So I think that's he can do that better from the opposition and in government. I'm not sure. I'm not sold because these guys are cunning, eh? They are so cunning, you just don't know. So we're going to go out on a bit of a limb and say that I'm going to tip that if they stick with LPV, they'll bring Ian Wilson in as Prime Minister.
Ian Wilson, that's from Ivo.
I'm still one movement.
He's perfectly clean. He's about the only one that's clean.
You, Terence? I mean, tomorrow, people, one of them have discussion here, is to remind the people to at the moment, maybe 1 nomination for Speaker or 2 or 3, and then for Prime Minister, say, 1 Speaker is done, you must have a road to it's all about secret ballot.
everyone is secret ballot mo you vote lo conscience split. At sa mga bintalan. So you go you vote lo conscience. President view by talam siya you vote ya. But conscience view by talam siya no mami ko mi vote ya.
You're not obliged to vote. That's the only time you're not obliged to vote on party line, unless they declare it a vote of conscience, which they can do from the floor. But this is a vote of conscience, straight off the bat.
Mo remember say constitution you give me the power of freedom of vote, freedom of movement blue. So I mean I most people pitim every constitution lo party. Posisi president lo party lo karam you put one discipline you mamalo you logam you this song. Freedom blue sabe. So you say vote lo conscience blue tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Then after we set them up government tomorrow, then bless now by 17A come through.
One kicks off automatically. It's A, isn't it? B kicks in 3 months.
Yes.
It takes effect from tomorrow, but the clock starts ticking, so they can do whatever changes they want to do. We've got to be realistic that this passport thing's really going to affect this legislature.
Yes.
We've got to just 100%. So we've got to basically look at, like him. Jotham might get the head of the pig. I can tell you, my one thing I can tell you I think will happen for Deputy PM will be Johnny Canapo, because I think that's what he wants to do, because he's got some unfinished business with finance. Not selling passports, really, like good, clean business. We heard his talk on Friday. He's very clear about what he wants to do and what he wants to achieve to do. And the reason I mention Ian Wilson is his name's come up several times because he is clean, and he's coming up more and more because now we've got potentially some dirty parties out there that have been tarnished. Their reputations are tarnished. You have to go and put someone that we're not going to find in the slammer in 6 months' time. We don't want that, surely. You know, that's not what we're about here. Surely they can at least show the country enough respect to put someone that has had things put up against them, either clear their name first before they come back in and put their hand up for Prime Minister, or don't put the hand up at all, just stop quiet and do us all a solid. So therefore, when you're in the hunt for someone that is able to, if you go through all the list of, and that fits into the program, that gets them there, then that's why Ian Wilson's name comes up. Educated.
Ian Wilson tu everyone I serve a long time little bit lo parliament lo under lo constitution lo maibo. Mo I well experience mo I one number leader we you never remember me first lo anything we you bisa talam semi wala alleged corruption practice happen be Ian Wilson ini barang remember. So
if they did make him, they'd have to drag him there screaming and kicking. He wouldn't be a winning participant.
So scenario we must give you maybe one option lo tomorrow.
So Talam say no, from Ian Wilson we connect with him leaders party. And so Talam say Yago group, who is the best one? Robert Pond?
No, well, yeah. I mean, he's still, his name is still there. He's still been flagged, but you know, I think don't underestimate the power of that grouping. That's 15 people. That takes a lot of rolling up and putting out behind. So pretty much they'll go and do what they want to do. I think I'm hearing that there'll be probably 6 or 7 10Es, ministries and top jobs floating around. So maybe that's only 5 and 2 of them are the top jobs. I'm not sure, but I just think at the moment that it would be, I'm not saying it won't happen, but if it does happen, they're running a real risk of putting people in power that could end up in jail shortly, simply given the allegation. So I think when these guys go to vote tomorrow, they have to vote with a conscience for the people of Vanuatu to stop embarrassing us and make us look stupid, because that's all they've been doing. Just to have this come up, I don't think that the caretaker PM can get his job back. I honestly don't think so, because he's the one that stopped this report from being published, which would have changed the entire outcome, I believe, of what would have happened and would have got it out of the road. Instead, unfairly, we're having this dumped on us 2 days before they've got to vote a new government in, after we've already voted at the polls thinking these people were squeaky clean. It's not too good, is it? You know, it just doesn't present well. So I think that they can sift through the chaff, they can identify who's there, but you also need to remember it's not also about the passports in the selling of them, it's also about the utilisation of them to bring stuff into the country illegally. There's 2 key factors to this that are separate but fit around the passport process itself.
So apat lo passport tu Mark, remember she got 2 MPs limit tu or elected na or got court case ilan abisap lo court. Asam MP limit lo former speaker of parliament by MP after the swearing blame by MP ko one pre-hearing bagan botra and one PI tu Mr. Pabenet lo MP limit blang by. So by bisa lead up to lo all kita key decision making lo today lo kasab tomorrow.
So tomorrow, hemi election, election day, but hemi election for prime minister. Now, what will happen tomorrow? First one, or you elect them move first one.
Tamu you go tomorrow, you go you sign them hot them. You take them oath with them. So you sign them roll. After the roll, you go elect them speaker and lo time ya by according to standing of the parliament by clerk we must find them the senior member inside the parliament. And senior member, I mean, say you more old this, you waste a long time. Or you old this, so by backlack I mean start tarawa tomorrow by me Arab, so one senior member, from by me preside over election lo speaker. I become preside over speaker finish, speaker go take chairman, speaker na I mean he conduct them back parliament lo election lo prime minister. Once we finish inside, parliament business le finish no. But you know prime minister, but you decide. But we go appoint them or minister or office of prime minister or anywhere from standing out not allowed to you appoint them from one shell prime minister elected. I mean, what executive now legislature let me minister tomorrow chamber.
Oh, right. Okay.
Executive now. So, but normal practice. What time you listen out more lot to topic outside there by or make a nomination of more all time way you come out lo chamber or you must go stand back and only discuss last one back. So I would take a position, I would take a position. So by immediately, but if I take 2 or 3 hours back and after, well, it's elect them prime minister.
So it's going to be a whole day tomorrow.
Could be longer. Could be longer.
Could be longer.
Could be longer.
So tomorrow 8 o'clock, and then same time where you may complete him. So supposed to one government set up tomorrow. By set up tomorrow, sorry. By Mr. Haram before 5 o'clock, I mean. Or Nivola ministers, state ministers come out. Well, Mark, it's going to be interesting. I mean, topic will pass to come out. It's another big topic where we can talk on it in the next episode program. This is interesting times.
We're about to see how good our leaders are, whether they're going to treat these allegations seriously or whether they're happy to, if you lie with a dog, you're going to get fleas. So if they're happy to be the dog that lays and gets the fleas, or whether they want to give themselves a bit of a clean up and try and give us a bit of a better image. It all depends on what is their priority. And we're about to find out, I'm pretty sure, in the next 24 hours as to what is their priority and what these men and women are actually made of. So we'll watch closely, see who steps up and see who's going to take us guided through and make the right decisions. Understanding that it is such a tumultuous time with just normal things that are going on, let alone to throw in a conspiracy for passport sales, alleged allegation, people making money and profiting and, putting a value on it and getting money in their pockets. So all these things add up to a complete cluster. So it's just going to be very interesting to kick back. We've all done our bit, we've had our say, we've talked, we've done the interviews, we've written the stories. The people have done the voting, so now it's up to these guys, these men and women, to 52 of them. We've given them and charged them with the responsibility, so hopefully 27 of them will be able to do the right thing by the country. What the other 25 do, we don't really care.
That's very true. Thank you very much, Mark. Come and Terence.
Imi asking no blessing lo pagot, mo wisdom lo pagot by sabot mi chana ko everyone. Lo balu sa jusum war ko straight lead up lo di mi go forward. Mo ba oli shosma kita lam lo imi lo pane boy no good juga mi correct them mi butuh one investigation ni golem. Lo ba imi sa correct them lo one good tomorrow.
That's very true. Well, thank you very much, Mark and Terence. Think about people are praying for us, and we are praying for you too. Whatever you do for good for this country, God is having. Let them people mo viewers is having mo kata listen is having. Say these are interesting times and challenging time all time, and challenging time will make them seem stronger. And blow you all young leaders, let's continue to learn from, and the future is in our hands. We make them seem going to think serious about letting this country go forward. But tomorrow, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward for the new Prime Minister. and all the ministers plan, make them say, we all can work with them for the good for this country. From Vanuatu Telepost, 107 and Bas FM, merci, thank you.